And then I'm just gonna try and say something and...
Test, test, test.
Alright, yeah, this should be good.
Good.
I mean, it's not great audio quality, but you can hear it, and you can hear us talking. Good? Where? Let's fucking go.
So I want people mostly to be able to hear us.
Oh, did you turn the...
Gonna drop trigger warnings for the game. I'm gonna scoot this over a little bit so it's easier to see. Alright. Are you ready? Alright, what's the name gonna be? What name you wanna go by?
What do you think? You put your name.
No, just that.
Oops. It's fine.
Hey! Are we gonna read it? Can we do different voices?
Oh, are you gonna talk? Okay.
I figured this is the same person,
So
right?
you're gonna narrate.
I see an annoying girl running towards me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. Sayori?
Sayori?
That girl is Sayori, my neighbor.
Sayori.
Sayori. My neighbor and good friend since we were children. I don't know how long I'll keep this up. You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today? But it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long?
Yeah, we're not gonna keep up with the whole reading out loud thing.
We'll see. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. Aww. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me.
I'm not doing that.
Come on!
No.
Come on, please! I just did all of that. You're gonna be louder than that. Come on!
No.
Come on!
No, you gotta narrate.
I did the narration, you gotta do the character.
But I caught you this time.
You're gonna have to speak up.
No.
Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. Come on, heads up.
No.
Come on, it's fun.
No, I would rather not.
It's fine. I'm gonna change the... Hold on. Let's see if this is better.
Lots of scams with like surveys and shit going out.
Yeah.
That's mean, Fox.
Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something.
Fine.
That's stupid.
No.
They're not gonna be able to hear you. Come on. But then what are we gonna do? Sit here and read it?
I mean, I can read it normally. Oh wait. So who am I again?
Sayori.
But you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean even if you want to. Whatever you say, Sai. Oh wait, that's you. Never mind.
Whatever you say, Sayori. We cross the street together and make our way to school.
Do we have to read it all out loud, or can we just read at our own pace and
I
just
feel like
talk as we go?
No, I feel like we should read it.
How do people normally do like
They read it.
They do?
Yes.
By the way, Fox, have you decided on a club to join yet?
A club? I told you already, I'm not interested in joining any clubs. I haven't been looking either.
You should be a voice actress.
That's what somebody said in one of the previous streams. They said that I should be a voice actor.
Yeah. That's not true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You told me you would join a club this year. There was no fucking reading out loud like during school or something.
Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Sarah likes to worry a little too much about me when I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Sounds like you.
Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is very important, really important to me, you know? And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world.
What is a
And
NEET?
a shut-in.
Oh.
You trust me, right? You trust me, right? Oh, you mean, don't make me keep worrying about you.
Alright. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy.
This is like the most awkward reading of something.
No promises, though. Why?
I don't know, it's just weird. It's just...
I mean, what else are we going to talk? I'm going to be preoccupied by reading it if we don't read it out
Well,
loud.
you at least promise me you'll try a little.
Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that.
Yay.
You gotta do... Yeah. You wanted to stream this.
Yeah, but I wanted to just play it.
Why do I let myself get lectured by such a
Carefree.
carefree girl?
Caffeine.
More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind just at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside her head.
No, you see, I hate reading out loud because then people see, like, how bad at reading I am. Like, I already have a bad enough time, like, processing words and audio and shit. Like, God.
The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at a wall looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Sarah wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club.
Hello?
Sayori. Sayori must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize I'm the only one left in the classroom.
I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed.
You don't need to wait up for me. I'm going to make you late for your own club.
Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know.
Know what?
Well, that you could come to my club.
Sayori.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to your club. Sayori is vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title of vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club.
Come on, please.
Why do you care so much anyway?
Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I would bring in a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything.
Oh.
Natsuki.
You're good at that. Don't make promises you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead or if she's so cunning as to have planned this all out. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay?
You do not sigh. Yes, let's go. Let us go.
And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. I dejectedly followed Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit, being generally used for third-year classes and activities. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door.
Everyone, the new member is here.
I told you, don't call me a new member. I glanced around the room.
Oh, am I reading these voices?
Yeah.
Are you just Fox?
And the narrator.
Oh. Yeah. Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Sayori always says nice things about you.
Seriously? You brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere.
Hey, Fox, look at that surprise. Welcome to the club. Are you gonna read it?
I am.
Oh, I got somebody.
Hello. All words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry.
Nutsky.
Stop. That's rude. The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Nasuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes me think she's probably a first year. She is also the one who made cupcakes, according to Sayori.
Oh, this is me. You need to just ignore her when she gets moody.
Sayori says that quietly into my ear and then turns back towards the other girls.
Oh, this is me again. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, smartest in the club. Don't say things like that.
Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Hello!
We got more people.
I hope you're going to enjoy our dramatic reading of this. Well, it's nice to meet both of you.
God damn it, I keep forgetting who I am. It sounds like you already know Monica. Is that right? Wait, is that right? I guess that's Monica. Great to see you again, Fox.
Mm-hmm. Monica smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. I'm glad you're going to enjoy it. Monica was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic. Basically, completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monica.
Come sit down, Fox. We made a room for you at the table, so you can sit next to me, or Monica.
Do either of us know the game? I was not aware of this game at all until Em mentioned it earlier, but you said you may have you've played a little bit.
I have played a little bit of it. I think like up to like around this point, and then I never picked it back up. And I know one spoiler, which I'm not gonna give away, but I haven't actually seen the clip from it or like anything from it. I just know something about a character.
I'm gonna do that again too. Add the trigger warnings in.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that the people in the chat know the game.
Well, yeah,
and that's why they're excited. Oh, I'll get the cupcakes.
Hey, I made them. I'll get them.
got a little too excited. Oh, wait. Wait, this is me too?
Yeah.
Okay. Then how about I make some tea as well?
The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. As Sayori mentioned, it's been widened so that there is one space next to Monica and one space next to Sayori. This would be my 86th time watching the game play out. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you know. Alright. And then
I'm sure the whole like first time playing thing is like, you know, a fun little thing to be on the lookout for.
yeah. Still feeling awkward, I take my seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da!
Oh. Hello.
Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like her little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears.
So cute. I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki.
Well, you know. Just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs one first, then Monica. I follow.
I feel like you have a voice for like voice acting, but like your inflection in it.
Momika, I'm gonna fucking choke. Yeah. I don't know my favorite yet.
Wait, which one's Bun? Where is she?
Would that be this one? No. That's
I guess this is Bun. Cinnamon Bun.
Sayori. That's you.
Oh yeah, that would be Cinnamon Bun, right? Because, okay, wait, okay. Wait. Trap? Mommy?
That would be, yeah, Sayori is
Yeah.
Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. That sounds like me. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite.
You ate finger.
Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like haven't I heard this somewhere before? Made them for you or anything.
Yeah, who is your favorite?
I thought you technically did. Sayori said. I don't know yet. Well, maybe, but not for you, you, dummy.
Baka Fox.
Alright. I give some weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. It's like a light music club. Wait,
Sure. Oh, great. No, she sets it down.
You keep a whole tea set in this classroom?
Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book?
Oh my god. I guess.
Oh, is this me too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Momika.
Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not...
Let's get to the books already. Insulted, Yuri looks away.
You could read to see. Oh my god.
I wasn't gonna read that one.
No, you gotta read it out loud. No, you gotta.
No.
I meant that. You know.
I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea.
What?
Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow and then smiles at me.
So what made you consider the literature club?
I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori really seemed happy here, so...
That's okay. Don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay?
Knowing that this
As president of the literature club, now you can talk at the same time. It's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. I have a feeling it's going to get fun and exciting pretty soon.
Knowing that this takes like a dark turn, but as of right now, it just reminds me of like music club.
Yeah.
How come you decided to start your own club? Oh, so she's president. You could probably be a board member of any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year?
Well, you know, to be honest, I can't stand all of the politics around the major clubs.
Oh, that is how that feels.
Huh? Feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. Yeah, that's your job right now. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. What kind of literature is it? Monica really is a great leader. Monica.
Yuri also nods in agreement.
Should we replace their names with whatever they are? Cinnamon Bun, Grape, Tratsky.
I'm not gonna be able to attach names like that.
Grape? Just say
well,
Grape,
yeah, but
Mommy, Bun, and Tratsky.
I'm gonna have to remember the names of those people and associate them. So Yuri is great. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. Oh my gosh,
just put it that way. Oh shit, I'm supposed to be reading this. Sorry. Wait, can I go back? Oh no, that's just all those. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. I think she's my favorite so far.
Yeah,
but it makes But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. And I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah. Why is everybody me now? Yeah, who are you gonna pick?
I don't know. You know it!
It's kind of ironic that the supposed trap is not me.
Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Mamika must have worked really hard to find these three. Maybe that's why they're all so delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm for literature.
So, Fox, what kinds of things do you like to read?
Well, considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that.
Just you.
Manga. I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet.
Not much of a reader, I guess.
Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri?
Well, let's see.
Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger.
My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. Telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. God, I'm so bad at reading.
Better not be Harry Potter. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading.
That's Twilight.
Yeah, let's just say it's Twilight. Twilight's sounded like
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it could be Game of Thrones. I don't know if that's much better. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds comfort in the world of books, not people.
Well, we have an intellectual among us.
Intellectual.
But you know, I like a lot of things. What for this one? Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. That's me, girl. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. Anyway.
I read a horror book once. I desperately grasped at something I can relate to at a minimal level.
Oh shit. Oh, I pressed the button by accident.
You gotta return.
I'm trying. There we go.
At this rate, you might as well be having a conversation with a rock.
Really, I wouldn't have expected that, Yori. For someone as gentle as you. I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think, or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment.
Ugh, I hate horror.
God. You remind me of like this really bad voice acting video where it's like over dramatic. Like you got the voice for it.
All of this deep hardcore genres.
Well, why is that?
Well, I just... Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind.
That's right. You usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki?
What? What gives you that idea?
You left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called...
Don't say it out loud! And give that back!
Oh, she's got the little tooth. Fine,
Yeah.
fine.
She's cute.
Your cupcakes, your poems. Everything you do is just as cute as you are.
I think she's my favorite, honestly.
Who, which
So-
one? Sayori or...
Natsuki. Sayori
Naturally.
sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute! Natsuki, you write your own poems? I can't not say it like that now. God damn it! Well, I guess sometimes.
That's kind of extra funny since she's like, I guess trap-coded or whatever. The person said in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Trapsky.
Natsuki.
Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. That's how it was written. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not a very confident writer yet?
I understand. I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself.
Yuri must have a
be-
muscular lower back with her spine being curved like a hot wood strapped to it. Keep going.
God damn.
Should I switch back to this camera?
I mean, sure, if you want.
Let's see if that's
You
better.
must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart.
That works.
Is that better?
A little bit.
Oh, you gotta just click on the browser again. Or the window. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. It's...
I guess it's the same for you. Same for your.
Oh, I wanted to read everyone's poems.
We all sit in silence for a moment.
Okay.
Out of context, but a lot.
Oh, wait, did I read it? I don't remember.
I have an idea of what she said. Natsuki and your... Look quizzically at Monika, exposing your vulnerabilities.
Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Oh shit, sorry, I'm so... That way, everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it. Plus, now that we have a new member, I think we'll get us all a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club.
Welcome to
Isn't
our club.
that right,
Welcome
Fox?
to our club. Monica smiles warmly at me once again. Hold on, there's still one problem.
What's that?
Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I bluntly put forth what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and, I lose my train of thought.
You know, look at all them. They look at you so fucking disappointed.
No, they're so sad.
They're not sad, they're disappointed.
All 4 girls stare back at me with dejected eyes.
Oh, that's mean. Did you read the comment?
Yes.
But I'm sorry. I thought.
When you said that. You all. I'm defenseless against these girls.
God, how the fuck does she stand like that?
I don't know.
Great. What's her actual name? Yuri?
Yeah.
Yuri.
How am I? What?
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes
They all
light up.
perked up. One by one, it was all at the same time. Yes, I am so happy.
Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey!
You really did scare me for a moment.
If you really just came here for the cupcakes, I would be super pissed.
I feel like I'm like fucking popcorn reading, like in school again. And that makes it official. Welcome to the literature club.
Thanks, I guess.
Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share.
Monica looks over at me once more.
Why does she seem like a little dumb? Like, I know she's supposed to be the well-read one, but she seems something about her.
I don't know.
Seems a little stupid.
I think she's just like a naive, like, good girl. Is kind of how I read her.
That's... yeah.
Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? Monica pretty dumb. I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food.
It's one thing to be a mom, and it's another thing to be mommy.
Yeah.
And I think that class of mommy and bimbo is like a very much overlapping Venn diagram.
Mommy? I'm sorry. Mommy?
What? Wait, what?
You don't know that, like, a lot of people do it on TikTok, but in general, they'll be like, Mommy? Sorry. Like, as if they said it accidentally.
What?
Oh my god. Never mind. I'll show you later.
You can show me now. Anyway, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together?
That's right. Sayori and I never walk home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well.
You can be mommy without being a MILF, right?
I guess, yeah, I would say so.
You're probably
Huge
the last person to ask.
Yeah, Dommy.
Oh my god.
With that, the two of us depart the club room and make our way home.
I would be fine with her killing me. Wait, I hope that's not a spoiler. What?
The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the 4 girls. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monica.
Wait, so who do you like?
I like, Natsuki.
Yeah.
What was her? Trapsky?
Trapsky. You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, but I like her though. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Yeah, you're surrounded by cute girls. Shut up, my guy. Perhaps I'll have the chance to go closer to one of these girls.
You are the
I
player.
know. But I wouldn't have said that. Alright. I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances. I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. What are we gonna write?
It's time to write a poem.
Oh god. We have to actually write it. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. Oh, so wait, are we gonna make a collective decision after who we're going after?
I guess.
Who do you want to go after?
Let's ask chat.
Who should we get to like our poem? I'm thinking
it sounds like, yeah.
Is the choice of chat right now. At least by Comrade 273.
Where even is she? Literally, what the fuck are these? Like, I know what these are, but... Alright, so... I don't know what you think.
Monica is unavailable. I would pick Yuri. Great.
Alright, so what words? Probably... Although, she seems like a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
Alone.
Wait, is she the one that said that she read horror, or was that was Monica?
Fuck, I forget.
I wasn't paying attention. Maybe anxiety?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Yuri reads horror. What, you want to do aura?
Aura.
Sure.
I'll be honest, I don't know what this fucking word is.
I don't know.
I don't know what it, I've seen it, but I don't know what it means. Incapable.
I think this is leading us down a nuts people.
Yeah. Oh god, 20 words. 420. Which one?
Captive is what spoke to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mouse! We gotta go with mouse.
I'll pick mouse. Unstable. Alright, fun, stable.
Am I right? Ambient. You pick this one.
Frightening or question?
Frightening. That was what I was leaning towards. All the words that are particularly long of those are Yuri's. He likes words you'd find in a picture book, and Sayori likes words that convey emotion. Ah, okay. So, who are we going after?
I thought we were doing Yuri.
Okay, so then we need to do long or verbose words. Like, contamination.
Disoriented.
Sure. Oh god, nibble. Don't pick that.
What?
Nibble is the one. I said don't pick that one! Giggle is cute. Unrequited.
That's a good one.
And I'm okay with ever. With whatever is what I'm gonna say. Marshmallow.
That is sense a very...
Okay, then go ahead and start.
A very
I feel like we want to go after two different people. We'll kind of generally pick and we'll see which one actually ends up liking better.
We'll switch back and forth.
Landscape. I like landscape. Alright, your turn. None of the business misery, let's take it from the top. Rainbow. Yay.
Boot.
kitty!
Suicide. Boop or suicide? Harm row. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Boop. No, boop or kitty? Boop. Do boop.
Sure, analysis.
Oh,
did they jump when it happens? Or are they just
generally jumping?
Oh, they're just generally
sensation?
Yeah,
Alright, let's see who we impressed.
I didn't even see that they were jumping. Yeah, can we pick two at one time? Kind of like a persona.
Yeah.
Oh, glad to see you didn't run away on us. Ha 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 ha.
Here is the best.
It's a sex-based term.
Oh, I will allow it to be posted in chat. They wanted to block climax. Alright. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out.
Thanks for keeping your promise, Fox. We hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it.
Oh, come on! Like he deserves any slack. Siri told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too.
What's up with you, fucking slacker?
I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it.
Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. God damn, look at that smile as she's talking shit. Oh wait, that's you. Mom. Mom.
She finds herself stuck between saying Monica and Monk.
And Mommy.
And Mommy. There was one M for each. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat.
Don't worry, guys.
Mommy? Sorry.
Fox always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. Is that true? He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable.
Oh, God. Sorry, that's because your room is so messy it's distracting. That's me, though.
Wait, you?
Yeah,
like, that's you at...
Actually, me.
That's you saying it, or your room is messy? Because...
Me saying it.
You make messes.
And you almost set your house on fire once.
That's you. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? Might be a little jealous. Oh! How come? You and Fox can become good friends too.
Maybe I'll help you get a chiropractor. Sayori? As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into.
Oh, you even brought you something today, you know. Wait, Sayori.
Me?
Me? Not really.
Hey, me?
Don't be shy. It's really nothing.
What is it?
Never mind. Sorry, made it sound like a big deal when it's really not.
Oh my God.
What did I do? I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking.
I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation.
Look at you. You made the fucking
Hey,
great
don't worry
so
about
shy.
it.
You embarrassed the great.
Curse the great. They did surgery on her.
They did
That's why her back.
embarrassment on the great.
That's why her back's all fucked up. They did surgery on her. Wait, I didn't
Oh
read
shit,
that.
I'm sorry.
So any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise.
Look at you, you're a fucking player.
It'll make me happy no matter what.
You say that to all the literature club girls. Is that so?
Yeah, I won't make it a big deal if you don't want it to be.
Alright. Well, here, did she just unbutton her shirt?
Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book.
I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it, if you want.
This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'd like, despite not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Well, that's you.
That's me. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. I forget what all the days are for these things. Like all the girl tropes. Like Tsundere is the only one that I remember off the top of my head, and that's Travsky.
Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Suri and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. Buried. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she's waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I hate, but I can't not say it that way now. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a bit more. But at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. What kind of surgery? Oh my god.
Here, read the comments out loud.
I'm not reading that out loud. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry.
Deeper in her what?
I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable.
Oh, it's fine. That's me. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place.
That's true.
Yeah? But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so...
That's the book you gave me, right?
Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason.
Okay. Just curious, how come you have two copies of the same book?
Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy two of them.
Ah, I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. What do you mean?
She does look like she's wearing a rug on her chest.
Oh, like the sweater or whatever it is underneath?
Yeah, like underneath. Or like it's scales.
I'll definitely start reading it soon.
I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story.
Is that so? What is it about, anyway?
Well,
Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled...
She even fucking read it.
Portrait of Markov?
Markov?
There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright. Oh, sorry, that's you.
Alright. I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange.
Ooh, spooky.
She gets targeted by these people who escape from a human experiment prison. While her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart.
I love that she's like, I don't want to give anything away. And then kind of basically gave away most of the plot. That's kind of... I was talking. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden.
Gently. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Fox?
No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry.
I hope so.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri's into those things.
Into things.
She's into things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different.
Her eyes are fucking far apart.
Yeah.
It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Reads the last chapter of the book. Yeah, exactly that.
And horrible things happen not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonists, they're made out to be a naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? No, it was like 4 text boxes, fine. Not again. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything.
Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people.
So you have object permanence issues.
So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much.
I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. Is this her special interest? Is she autistic to it?
No.
The least I can do is listen.
She's just supporting.
It's a literature club after all. I mean, yeah.
That's true.
In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right?
You don't have to.
What do you say? Just a moment ago, you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's.
Yeah.
Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive.
I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone.
I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything.
Alright.
I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead.
Sorry. I was just...
Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you?
I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean...
Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them.
Slide their desks together.
Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. Scandalous. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess it makes it kind of difficult to turn the page.
Here.
Oh. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn the page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. Oh Lord, better not hold hands. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before.
Yeah, and they're like, they're one sphere of influence away from holding hands. Like, they are both holding these same books, so they are practically holding hands.
It's actually kind of distracting
There's
me.
not enough room for Jesus.
It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision.
Are you ready?
God, look at the side eye. Yeah. Stop.
Turn the page.
Stop this creep. Ah, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again. Our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her.
That gives me a fucking headache. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? Oh gosh, she calls you an idiot.
She's just like, you don't read.
You're a little slow, aren't you?
You got distracted because you don't usually read books. That's what it is, isn't it?
Oh, look at that little smile. She's like, my little idiot. I don't mind being patient if it takes you a little bit longer. God, it's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me.
Yeah. Thanks.
God,
We
you seem
continue
mad.
reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side if she catches it under her own
I
thumb.
need to take a break after this.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is too much. It's
Hey,
too
Yuri.
hot.
This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit.
You think so? How does she?
Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways. But she also second-guesses all of the things she says and does. Like, she's afraid she'll do something wrong. That's most people, my guy. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms.
I see.
Back to this still. Yuri remains silent for a moment.
But Fox, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that.
What? Wait.
God, you fucked up. You dropped the ball, my guy.
I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything.
God, fumbled the bag
Sorry,
so hard.
I really didn't know that you were self-conscious about that sort of thing.
God, who isn't?
I guess I meant it more... I more meant that it's kind of cute. She's like, oh, okay.
God, she looks so fucking sweaty. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each. Oh my god.
Here we go.
We might not even have enough time if we wait too long.
Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Spared from finishing her thought.
Is that right, Yuri? You look kind of down. She's fucking hot. She's gonna pass out. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's fine.
Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright,
God, she crushed
I
her
guess I'll
thumb.
do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? That was a good question.
I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. Gosh, she's so disinterested.
Can we talk about how 4 girls within a week become attracted to the blandest man on the planet?
Chat called you bland.
In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know?
That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time.
Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book and then slip it back into my bag.
And you slip it back in. By the way... What?
The way you said that.
By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night?
Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing.
You've never written a poem for me.
I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before.
Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait.
Wait, that was supposed to be me.
No, I'm Sayori.
Oh, yeah.
Sayori.
Sayori. Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should we show our poem to first?
Who do you want to show it to?
Well, I guess you wanted to go after Yuri, right? And we were just talking with her.
Well, who do you want to go after?
Natsuki.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Should we flip a coin? Do we have a coin?
We can find a coin. Or something. Find a coin in there.
Hey, we actually got grapes downstairs, right?
Yeah, we do have grapes now. I don't think there's a coin in here.
Oh, here we go. We'll flip this,
Bottle cap?
yeah, this bottle cap. Alright, heads for nuts, tails for grape.
Where's heads? That?
Yeah, the logo.
Oh god.
Where did it go?
It fell in the party somewhere.
Here it is.
What was it?
It was tails, but I want to give it a re-go.
Ha!
Alright. Nuts.
Nuts. I told Natsuki I was interested in her poems yesterday.
I am kind of curious to hear what hers are.
It's probably only fair if I share mine with her first.
Nutsucky. Exactly. That's exactly it. Oh, you gotta read all of them now.
Fox, if you're not going to take this club seriously, then go home.
God damn, chill the hell out.
What? Harsh. What? You expect me to believe that you actually put effort into this?
You're really good at this thing today thing.
What?
It's like, I'll look it up while you read all the dialogue. Here. Spacebar to go.
Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. Painful to think about? Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I'd tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you'll probably think it's stupid.
Oh my god.
Eagles can fly. Monkeys can climb. Crickets can leap. Horses can race. Owls can seek. Cheetahs can run. Eagles can fly. People can try. But that's about it. Oh, we got a Monica in the chat.
We got a what, huh?
Monica in the chat. Yeah. I told you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What?
No, she's so stupid.
Just be honest.
How are you in a literature
I
club
am.
with a second grade reading level?
Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well,
Getting too
because
complicated for me.
everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? I don't think I can comprehend eagles can fly. Are they truly free though? Maybe it's a commentary about America. Can they fly?
Eagles can't fly.
Your
Eagle
writing
can
style
fly.
wouldn't make your message any less valid. What message? Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem, seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. so I've decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay.
Is she saying that she's actually seen a cheater run in real life?
Maybe. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then I make it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something.
What do you mean to be a pro?
Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you?
Fucking
Yeah, I guess not.
Teen Girl Squad.
I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki feels proud, then I won't take that away from her.
She said,
Alright,
I imagine
Your
she
turn.
sounds like Beatrice from ReZero.
I
I
kind of want
suppose.
You gotta end everything with
I suppose.
I do kind of want to get grapes now, though. Do you want to do your
Sure.
She's older than... Wait, how old is she? Did she say?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess, like, a first...
I don't know canonically like what they're supposed to, how old they're supposed to be. Well, wait, which one?
Wait, hold on.
We already spent time with Yuri, so we gotta go.
Before
go
you
to
talk,
others.
before you talk to Grape, I want to go get grapes.
I'm gonna see what Mommy's saying.
You want to see what Mommy's...
Yeah. Wait, how do you? I don't know how to control the thing. If we're going. What? No, I know that. I meant to put it in. Never mind. Anyway, what's up, y'all? We're taking a little break. Just till wife gets grapes, I guess. But we're doing Mommy's poem next. I want to see just how bimbo she is. Literally, it seems like Yuri is the only one who like seems to actually have a high school like reading level, but she's kind of weird. Just, I don't know.
Oh, she's 17. Yuri is 18.
Mom's 23.
23?
Wait, so is she a teacher?
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway,
They're a very weird grapes.
I want to hear what Mommy's poem is. Nah, but don't worry about it. Okay. Hi, Fox. Having a good time so far?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, do you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better? I'm always listening. I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay?
Alright, I'll keep that in mind. I didn't think about the fact that these are going to have seeds in them. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up.
It's you in general.
I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Yeah, that's the tip.
Anyway, want to share your poem with me?
It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to.
Don't worry, Fox. She called you a fox. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know. But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. God, I kind of love her.
Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem.
Mm-hmm. Great job, Fox. I was going, oh, in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. Yeah, she thought you were stupid.
It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort.
That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. Gosh, other girl thought she was rambling. I never really asked, though.
I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Oh, they're actually really good.
Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. Are we gonna get to see her home?
I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this.
That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kind of styles. But I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. No, she does not shut up. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything.
Yeah, sure.
God. The little pose.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good.
You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good.
Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know.
I see. Well, let's read it then. All right, you read this one.
Hole in wall. What the fuck do you? Oh, I guess I have to use this to scroll. Okay. This fucking fly that's in here. Hole in wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the spackle protrudes. A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No! I can't see. I reel, blind, like a film left out in the sun, but it's too late. My retinas, already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything, a hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out, and he, on the other side, was looking in.
This is some shit that I would write as a high schooler.
Oh, God.
I got to sit next to the cute boy in my class for the poetry section.
What do you think? God, yeah, no, she sounds like she's gonna kill somebody. I love it.
It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback.
It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style's gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. I did not know how to do that. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful.
Ah, so she's into slam poetry. What was the inspiration behind this one?
Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit.
An epiphany?
Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that, because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes, when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about this is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for
I
listening.
thought it was Sailor's. Or was it a Monica tip of the day? We're going Yuri next or Sailor?
Let's do Sailors.
Okay.
So why's she cinnamon bun?
I don't know. This is here.
Oh, that's right, I'm reading. Okay. This is a good poem, Fox. Are you sure it's your first time?
Of course. It's not that good. Am I the kind of guy who would be writing poems in his spare time?
I guess you're right. The That's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid you wouldn't do it seriously, or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm really happy I'm really happy just that you wrote one. Breakfast hype. Just reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now.
Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Well, of course. I'm not really into it yet, but it doesn't mean I'll break my promise.
See? It's like I said before, Fox. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people, that's something that only really good people do.
Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Knowing how much this means to her and all.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That will be my way of thanking you.
Alright, I'm gonna hold you to that then.
Yeah. Now, you'll read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this.
We'll see about that. Do you want me to read this one?
Yeah, read it.
Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad. I want breakfast.
Breakfast type. Okay. Also,
honestly,
that is pretty good.
Yeah, that is. Sayori, this is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this?
No. Just a little bit.
You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question.
I forgot to do it last night.
Well, at least it makes me feel a little better about myself.
She's kind of the cutest. I identify with her the most.
I kind of like her. Don't be mean. That's you.
Don't be mean. I still try my best. You are definitely the Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean to say that it was a bad poem. It came out nice, or how should I put it? It sounds just like you.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Especially that last line.
I need eggs and toast.
Oh my god. Even though you were late to school?
It's bad to skip breakfast.
Oh my
Get
god.
all cranky.
Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me.
She's adorable. This was so much fun. Monica's the best.
Oh, yeah.
But next time, I won't forget, and I'm gonna write the best poem ever.
Well, I guess I look forward to it. Last one. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten.
Exceptional.
What was that?
Did I say that out loud?
Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering up her whole face.
He's going to hit me.
You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri.
That's... I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for?
Yuri takes a breath.
Fucking fly. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before.
Really?
Gosh, you're using so
Wow,
many big
that's a
words.
huge compliment coming from you.
She's losing me.
This is actually my first time, really.
Huh? Me.
Yuri stares at me blankly and then reads my poem again.
Well, I know that. I just meant,
Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly.
Yeah. Okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened.
Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone. She sounds like an expert.
Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Oh, okay. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. You're the last person we're talking to, girl. Noski can be a little bit biased, though.
Biased? How?
Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry.
It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now?
Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it.
Yuri smiles dreamily as if that's a rare opportunity for her. You have to read it. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club?
God. Can you read that?
You got it.
No, I can't read that handwriting.
You can.
No, I can't.
Yes, you can. I believe in you.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Ghost under the light. Oh, thank you. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining street light to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Whoa.
Flicker, I hardly know her.
Stop. That is actually a double entendre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
get it?
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. Goddamn right.
What? I wasn't thinking that at all.
But it took you shut up.
God, if you say it,
God.
we're done.
I wonder if that's like worked into the game or if it take a long time to read it.
Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty.
Was I talking in cursive the other night? That's a relief.
Also, I liked the poem. Even though it's short, it's really descriptive.
It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. It's
Not at
not
all.
the length that matters, right? I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild.
That's good.
Something easy to digest, I suppose.
I suppose.
I suppose.
Are you into ghosts, Yuri?
Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Fox.
Really?
God, fucking idiot.
I must have totally missed the point. Yeah.
Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after. You just said I took a long time to read it. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their own work. They usually do more than tell a simple story, or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Whoa.
Whoa. I wanted to move still.
Oh, shit. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past. and soon to be left with nothing.
That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive.
Eh? It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive, too.
Wait, do we get to read ours?
So...
Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you.
You think so?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I was really nervous about doing all of this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna keep doing my best for you, Fox.
Mm. Ah. Me too.
She's got that Naruto in her.
Every time it says ah, I just think of, like, Peanut Butter Kid.
Ah.
Ah. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poem can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems.
Neither of them are ginger.
As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language?
Did you say something?
Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy.
Ah, thanks. Yours is cute.
Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute?
I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice.
Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say?
God, calling you out.
Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all.
Well, I do have a couple suggestions.
If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and Fox did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all...
Excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a lot of time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless, of course, I come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet. And Fox liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it.
Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri.
That's not what I... you're just...
Yuri stands up as well.
Maybe you're just jealous that Fox appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours.
Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself?
Damn, all over... No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Oh! Sorry, I wasn't reading yours.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay?
Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Fox started showing up.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Natsuki. Oh, Natsuki, that's a little...
This doesn't involve you!
I don't like fighting guys.
Suddenly, both girls turn towards me as if they noticed I was standing there.
Fox, she's just trying to make me look bad.
That's not true.
Her boobs actually get bigger.
She started it. And if she couldn't get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out to the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her, Fox.
Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Fox? Right, Fox?
Well? How did I get dragged into this in the first place?
Which are you gonna pick?
It's not like I know anything about writing. But whomever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. So that's, of course, going to be...
Well, who do you agree with?
I agree with Yuri, but I like it.
You agree with Yuri more?
I guess.
I mean...
Yeah. I'd honestly probably say help me sooner, but...
Pick something to say.
I guess let's go with Yuri. Let's pursue Yuri. She seems to be very into us. Natsuki, you're right that I liked your poem. See? Wait. That's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different.
You picked Yuri because of her boobs, didn't you?
That's not what happened at all. Yuri wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri?
Eh?
You are a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed.
Well, that's...
But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute.
I see. I didn't notice that I'm sorry. Ugh.
But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that...
Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too?
Natsuki clenches her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped, at this point being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up feeling bad for her.
Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head.
Sarah, she doesn't need to. You know what? I'm going to do that. It'll spare me from having to look at all of your faces right now.
God damn.
Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumples up the poem with her hands and throws it into the trash.
Natsuki. She really didn't need to do all that.
I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Everything all right?
I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now.
No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you.
Well, alright, I believe you. Thanks, Fox. You're too kind. Thankful to have you as part of this club now.
It's nothing.
One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, you know, I would never do anything so shameful. So...
Huh? What thing did Natsuki say?
God, this is me when you... well, never mind that. I'm gonna go make some tea.
Ah, good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay?
Yeah. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it.
It's alright, well, mostly.
What?
It was alright, well, mostly.
Fox, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone.
Awesome. In that case, we'll do
God.
the same thing tomorrow. Maybe you learn something from your friends, too. So so your poems will turn out even better.
I think to myself, I did learn a little bit more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with a newfound determination.
Fox, ready to walk home?
Sure, let's go. Sayori beams at me. It truly has been a while since Sayori and I spent this much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. I kind of like Sayori.
She's cute.
Sayori? About what happened earlier.
What do you mean?
You know, between Yuri and Natsuki. Does that kind of thing happen often?
No. That's really the first time I've seen them. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. I promise, they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you?
No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they'd make good friends with you.
Whew. You know, Fox, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club. But I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest. And I think everyone really likes you too.
Oh, that's great. That's...
Every day is going to be so much fun.
It looks like Sayori still hasn't caught onto the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? Oh my god. Well, we'll just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do this. Hold on. I want to get the ring light really quick. You can write this poem.
I can write it?
Yeah.
What do I do? Okay. Yes, sir. Eternity. Boop. Poof. You pick the last word. I was gonna go with milk, but
I mean, you can go with milk.
I think I kept it pretty even between the three of them. So it's anyone's guess. Does it actually have batteries?
Yeah, I just put batteries in it.
Does it help?
Maybe we should put it on here. It's just like a little dark in here. Should we stick with that camera?
It don't matter. No, I like the up top one.
Yeah, stick with that camera.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels so dark. And this is like not helping literally at all. I need a bigger ring light. Alright.
What in Try turning that light on. Maybe.
I think it's just kind of like yellow. That does nothing.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
It might.
I looked at it. It doesn't do anything.
What about that? Oh, we don't have a light out there, do we? Alright, anyway, read this.
Another day passes. It's time for a club meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable here over the past couple days. Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me.
Hi, Fox.
Yo, Sayori. It looks like you're in a good mood today.
I'm just still not used to you being in the club, that's all.
I see. That's a pretty simple thing to get you in a good mood. But I guess it's always the simple things with you anyway.
Speaking of which, I'm kind of hungry. Will you come with me to buy a snack?
No thanks.
Oh, that's not like you at all.
I have my reasons. Why don't we take a look in your purse, Sayori?
Why that all of a sudden?
No reason, really. I just wanted to look at it. Sayori nervously retrieves her coin purse. She fumbles with the latch and gets it open. And then she turns it upside down and lets its contents spill onto the desk. Only 2 small coins fall out.
Oh, she wanted you to buy
I knew it. I can see right through you, Sayori.
That's not fair. How did you even know?
It's simple. If you had enough money in the first place, you would have bought a snack before coming to the club room.
That is the cutest face.
So either you're not hungry and want an excuse to take a walk, or you plan to conveniently forget that you spent all your money so that I would lend you some. But there's one more thing. You're always hungry. And so that only leaves the one option.
Wow. I give up. Don't make me feel guilty.
If you feel guilty, that means you deserve to feel guilty. Yuri suddenly giggles. Eh?
She suddenly appeared, too.
I didn't notice she was listening in. Her face is in her book, as always.
I wasn't listening or anything. It was just something in my book. Yuri.
Yuri.
Yuri. Hopefully that ain't too loud. Hey, let me see that. I'm gonna do it off camera. You see me?
Kind of, yeah. It's also your turn, and you're going to be able to see it.
Can you?
Yes, you can see it.
You can?
Yes.
Tell Fox to let me borrow some money. Don't get me involved like that, Sayori. Besides, you should only buy what you can responsibly afford. And frankly, after pulling a mischievous little stunt like that, your suffering's fair enough retribution. Did I just... I didn't mean that. I got too absorbed into my book. I really like when you speak the mind, Yuri. It doesn't happen much. There's a fun side of you. There's no way you could think that. You were right, though. I did something bad and now I have to accept the revolution. Retribution. That. Still, coming from you, Sayori. I guess there's a little devil inside of all of us, isn't there?
Don't let her fool you. Sayori knows exactly what she's doing. After all, she told you guys she was bringing me to the club before she even told me.
But you wouldn't have come if it weren't for the cupcakes. So I had tricked Natsuki into making them.
Come on, give me more credit than that, Sayori.
Wow.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, something smacks Sayori in the face and tumbles onto the desk.
Ow. What was... A cookie.
Sure enough, it's a giant cookie wrapped in plastic. Sayori glances around.
Is this a miracle? Because I paid my restitution.
Retribution.
Actually, that one almost worked.
I was just going to give it to you. But then I heard you blab about the cupcakes. It was totally worth seeing your reaction, though.
Not you. That's so nice of you. I'm so happy.
Sayori hugs the cookie. Jeez, just eat it. Sayori rapidly tears open the wrapper and takes a big bite.
Kiss the cookie. So good. Oof.
Sayori suddenly clasps her hands over her mouth.
I bit my tongue.
You're going through a lot over just one cookie. Natsuki takes a bite of her own cookie.
Oh, yours looks really good too, Natsuki. Can I try it?
Jeez. Beggars can't be choosers.
But yours is chocolate.
Yeah, why do you think I gave you that one?
Fine. Still, I'm really happy that you shared this one with me. God,
Sayori
it
gets
even
out
has
of-
a little tilt.
Sayori gets out of her seat and goes behind Natsuki, then wraps her arms around her.
I'm pretty sure that's like an OnlyFans thing that people do the tilt when they're talking.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like the flirty thing.
Ah, jeez. I get it. Cookie still in hand, Natsuki reaches up to nudge Sayori off her. Sayori suddenly leans down and takes a bite out of Natsuki's cookie. Hey! Did you seriously just do that? Mouthful, Sayori trots away to safety. Yuri and I laugh as well. Jeez, you're such a kid sometimes. Monica, can you tell Sayori?
Oh, good.
Natsuki glances around. Monica isn't in the club room. Where's Monica anyway?
Good question. Have any of you heard anything about her being late today? Not me.
Yeah, I haven't either.
That's a bit unusual. I hope she's okay.
Of course she's okay. She's probably just had something to do today. She's pretty popular after all.
Should I give Sayori a sort of like a little bit of a southern drawl?
If you want.
Eh? You don't think she...
I'm gonna do this again just since chat is kind of quiet.
You don't think she has a... I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably more desirable than all of us combined. That's true.
Excuse me? Suddenly, the door swings open.
Sorry, I'm super sorry.
Ah, there you are.
I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything.
She's busy doing mom stuff.
Monica chose the club over her boyfriend after all. You're so strong.
Ah,
Liv.
that's why Mommy Monica wasn't available.
Oh.
She's the boyfriend.
Boyfriend? What on earth are you talking about? Well, this is
Glances at
really-
me. Ah, never mind that. What held you up anyway?
Well, my last period today was study hall. To be honest, I kind of just lost track of time.
That makes no sense, though. You would have heard the bell ring at least.
Oh my god, he's chasing the fly.
Yeah. Get it, Miyagi. Oh, is he gonna do it? He's going to. No.
Nah, it's all the way up there. I'm not gonna get it. I must not have heard it since I was practicing piano. Piano? I wasn't aware you played music as well, Monica. I don't really. I kind of just started recently. I've always wanted to learn piano. That's so cool. You should play something for us, Monica.
Oh, God.
That's...
Monica looks at me.
Maybe once I get a little better, I will. Yay.
That sounds cool. I'd also look forward to it.
Is that so? Oh wait, wrong person. In that case, I won't let you down, Fox.
Monica smiles sweetly. Ah, I didn't mean to put any pressure or anything like that.
Don't worry. I've been practicing a whole lot recently, and I'd really love a chance to share once I'm ready.
I see. In that case, best of luck.
Thanks. So I didn't miss anything, did I?
No, not really. I chose to leave out Sayori's mischievous escapade. I'm sure Natsuki will end up complaining to her anyway. It looks like everyone has already settled down. Sayori somehow already finished her entire cookie. Yuri is back to her book, and Natsuki disappears into the closet. Hey, Yuri.
Yeah?
Ah. I suddenly noticed that Yuri is reading a different book.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I was kind of just waiting for you.
If that's the case, why don't we go ahead and get started?
Yes, let's. Actually, I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first?
Not at all.
Thanks very much. If there's one thing that can make my reading time any better, it's a nice cup of tea. Not to mention for yourself as well.
Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with the filter inside.
Can you hold this for a second?
Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle.
I'm gonna plug this in at the teacher's desk, and then we'll go get some water.
She walks past me and sets the kettle down on the teacher's desk. I simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts her speaking mannerisms. Oh, hi, Miyagi. You gotta play the stream text. Stream text. Stream text. Especially because of her long legs, Yuri appears elegant and
Oh, she got the gams. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks, I'll be right back.
I might as well walk with you.
Yeah, why not? Shall we go then?
Yeah.
Where are you two off to?
Yuri was going to make some tea, so I suddenly realized how weird it sounds to explain this to Monica. We're just filling the water pitcher.
Okay. Sorry, I was just a bit curious. That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it?
That's...
Monica, please mind your own business for once. Oh, God! Or do you want me to tell... Or do you want me to... God. Or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve Fox in club activities?
My mouth gapes.
God, it's the fucking pose again. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Then let's go, Fox. Good. She's got that dog in her.
Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow.
Calling up the club president.
Once in the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead up against the wall.
I spoke without thinking.
How
How
could
can I say something like that?
Yuri.
Something about the way she said that made me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me?
No, Yuri. I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not right for Monica to judge people like that.
Fox. How come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me?
Because nothing that you do is as bad as it seems. You make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. I don't know. We have emotions, and we can't always hide them away. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane.
No. Wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that?
Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that?
Friend, you say?
Yuri lifts her head.
Fox. I really like being friends with you.
We're just friends now. We're not married.
Well, you and me, or wait, who's married?
I'm just making a joke. Thanks, Yuri. I like being friends with you too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that, but I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Anyway.
Yeah. Shall we go?
Yeah. Yuri and I walk to the nearest water fountain.
I'm like trying to...
Once we fill up the water pitcher, we return to the classroom.
Fox, do you like oolong tea?
Yeah. Anything is fine.
Very well.
Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees.
Everyone's a good temperature. Now it's time to get the teapot.
You really do this properly, don't you?
course.
I want one that
I
sits the
shouldn't
tone.
do it any less when I'm making tea for others.
Even if I'm not an expert on tea or anything?
Hoo-hoo. In that case, you'll only be even more impressed.
Ah, perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now.
Is that so? I was letting it show. And you noticed. I was doing a little bit of thinking, and I decided that I would try expressing myself a little bit more. It turns out that it's not very hard for me to do. When it's you who's around anyway.
No.
Oh.
That's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too much.
You're always worrying about me, Fox. It's very endearing.
Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I can keep up with this. I watch Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us.
Fox, I have another request. Do you mind if we sit on the floor today?
Why's that?
It's a little bit easier on my back. God, you
I
don't
can
fucking
imagine.
say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit easier on my back.
I have a black shirt, so people can't even really see you.
I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk.
Ah, sorry, I didn't realize.
No worries. I just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to
One of
manage
those
it.
big gazongas.
Girl, same.
Is that so? I wonder why that is.
It's most likely because my
Your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading?
yes,
Oh my god.
I have terrible reading posture. So that's why we should sit on the floor.
I didn't think they were actually going to say that it was because of her boobs. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieve the book from my bag. Ah, I have some chocolate as well. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. I take it since it'll go well with the tea. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assume the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer to each other.
Oh, I can't see too well.
Yuri slides closer until our shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus on reading like this? Yuri was always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle.
Look at your teacup.
Yuri hands me my teacup. Holding it with my hand that's not holding the book, I end up in the position that makes it even harder to focus. Because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away.
Basically, just the whole thing is
I
that
use
she's got tits.
all of my willpower to focus on reading. After a few minutes, I finally manage to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. Ah, sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. Ah, that's... Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I won't take it.
Got so used to just reading all of it. Are you sure?
Well, if I touch it, then it might get smudged on the pages.
Ah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad.
No need to apologize. I'll hold the book, okay?
Are you sure?
Of course.
Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so that I don't have any harder time reading from it. But as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Scandalous. Well, in that case, Yuri is already totally focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it in my mouth. Then I take another chocolate, and I hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if the situation was completely natural. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. Just like that.
The little chocolate there.
Oh my god. Yuri closes her lips over it. Yeah. Yuri's expression suddenly breaks.
Did I just...
Yuri looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened.
Fox.
Sorry. I guess I shouldn't have done that.
Well, you're just helping. That's something that friends do.
Friends.
You don't feed me chocolate.
I tried to feed you chocolate like a couple streams ago, and you didn't want any.
You did?
Yeah.
Wait, when?
When I had that chocolate bar. I mean, not really in this kind of context, but yeah. That's all it was.
Yeah. Then you don't need to stop or anything.
So you don't need to stop doing chocolate. I see. The situation has gotten really tense. Yuri tries to return to the book, but I can tell just by her expression that even she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate between my fingers. I don't want you to give me anything.
I don't want
But this time, Yuri's eyes meet mine.
We have to act it out.
What? How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her gaze. I noticed her chest rising and falling in the rhythm of her breaths.
Yeah,
I raise my arm.
Works like that, you stupid asshole.
It's fine.
Like
Like before, Yuri parts her lips. Or it is different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. Oh my god, it's fucking animated. I feel her hot breath on my fingers.
Okay, everyone. Wow! Oh,
Wow.
wait, you.
Yuri jolts back.
It's time to share poems. You can help Yuri in full way with his pop, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thanks.
The spell is abruptly broken.
I'll take care of the cups.
Yeah.
God, I held this for too long.
Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. I get the feeling that this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. Alright, who are we going to first?
Who are we going to first?
I don't know, you pick.
Is there anyone in chat who can, suggest anything? I can't see if anybody's on, so... Oh, hey, we got a follower.
Oh, we did? Oh,
We
nice.
got 16 now.
Wait, hold on, let me pull up the...
Let's fucking go.
Oh yeah, we've gotten 3 followers.
Sneeze, wheeze. I don't know if people are still
I don't know.
in stream, but Sneeze, wheeze, Comrade, who gave us a lot of stuff, and then just Monaco.
My friend just said, oh my god, have you played this before?
No, thanks for the follow. Anyway. Cool.
Who was Master first? Well, I can admit that it's better than the last one. It's nice to see that you're putting in some effort. That's good. Come to think of it, it kind of reminds me of Sayori's poem from yesterday. Eh? You think so? Yeah, well, I guess you've been friends with her for so long, you might be on the same wavelength. But you never really struck me as her type. Sayori has a type all of a sudden?
Since you're reading these, you want to hold it.
Well, I don't know, but honestly, how can someone so, fluffy spend so much time with someone like you? It's like she's dragging around a dead weight. God. That was a little unnecessary. Yeah, it was. But think of it this way. If it weren't for me, she probably would just fly away like letting go of a balloon. You could say that we each take care of each other in our own way. Whatever it is, I don't get it. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to show you my poem. Here. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wriggling, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a cute singing voice. I heard her singing my favorite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would pound to the rhythm of the words. But she likes spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. One time, I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried not to let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. What if her friends start to like spiders too? That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it private. It doesn't matter if she hurts anyone. It's gross. If she doesn't hurt anyone, it's gross. She's gross. The world is better off without spider lovers, and I'm gonna tell everyone. Alright.
Dang.
Not bad, right?
Sounds like you really feel.
It's quite a bit longer than yesterday's. Yesterday's was way too short. I was just warming up. I hope you didn't think that was the best that I could do. No, of course not. Anyway, the message is pretty straightforward in this column. I doubt I'll have to explain it. Sometimes you can explain complicated issues in much similar analogies. And it helps people realize how stupid they're being. Like, anyone would agree that the subject of this poem is an ignorant jerk. Do you know people like that? Of course, it's about how everyone thinks my... That doesn't matter. It can be about anything. I wrote it to be easy to relate to. Everyone has some kind of weird hobby or guilty pleasure. Something that you're afraid of if people find out they'd make fun of you or think less of you. But that just makes people stupid. Who cares what someone likes as long as they're not hurting anyone and it makes them happy? I think people really need to learn to respect others for liking weird things. Well, you're definitely right. At least I can relate to that. And I'm sure a lot of other people can too. It's what I do best, after all. I don't like writing unless there's a good message to take away from it. Like, conveying emotions is important, but I want to make people think, not just feel. Remember that. I'm going to write a good one for tomorrow too, so look forward to it. Alright. You go.
Alright. Who's next?
Whoever you-
Mommy.
Mommy?
Oh, I want to hear Sayori's. No, wait.
Mommy? Sorry.
Which one?
Whichever you think.
I want to do Yuri's last since we've spent quite a bit of time with her already.
Okay.
Sayori's absolutely adorable.
Oh,
I like this one, Fox. It has some nice feelings in it. I'm trying to do my Osaka voice from
Yeah.
Azumanga Daioh,
Ah, I'm glad.
the dub.
Does that mean it's better than yesterday's?
Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both.
That's not very helpful, you know.
Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad. But that's why I just go by my heart. As shrimple as that. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem.
I'm not sure that's exactly how it works. Then again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of this whole thing. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place.
Yeah, me neither.
Ugh. Why don't you at least try giving it some thought?
Oh, you want me to write some? You want to write something for me? That's so sweet.
Yeah, right. But you're always thinking about other people. You need to think about yourself once in a while. And if you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point.
Well, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll try to keep it in mind. God, that face.
Whatever.
That face is like me every day, every minute. Anyway, let's see. I guess I like happy poems. Wait, sometimes I like sad poems too. Sometimes a little bit of both. There's a word for that, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Bittersweet. Yeah. I like things that are happy and things that are sad.
Happy and sad? I can't see you like something sad, Sayori.
Well, I like happy the most. Sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little
Oh
hug
my gosh, she's so cute.
and make a nice happy rainbow.
Sayori, that's unexpectedly poetic.
Yeah, it is. Maybe I'm getting better at expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, Fox. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay? Bottles.
Popping bottles in the ice.
Pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. There's a secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine, all rubbing together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly. There's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe, and I put the bottle on the shelf with all of the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in bottles, all in a row. My collection makes me a lot of friends. Each bottle, starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friend feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave. Sorry, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and crannies. Digging and digging, scraping and scraping. I blow dust off my bottle caps. Doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally, all done. I open up, and in come my friends. They come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them from the shelf, one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading, something. But all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head.
Aw, I liked that one.
It's sad.
It's sad. I like it. Holy crap. Sayori, did you really write this?
Of course I did. Didn't I tell you yesterday I was going to write the best poem ever?
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't expect something like this coming from you.
Mom taught me a whole lot. And I've been really in touch with my feelings lately.
I see that. It's almost kind of creepy.
Creepy?
Well, not exactly. Maybe because I'm so used to you being cheerful. Well, never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out really good, so you should be proud of it.
Oh, thanks. I feel like I was meant to express myself this way. It even helps me understand my own feelings a little bit better. Writing is like magic.
You've gotten pretty passionate about this, huh? I hope you keep it up.
Yeah, writing's the best. I'm gonna keep writing until I die.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Sayori's always had a habit of getting obsessed with something before dropping it no more than a week later. I wonder if this is one of those times. Hyperfixation much? But seeing the passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic.
Alright, which one
Mommy
now?
Monica.
Huh?
Mommy Monica.
Did you say Hottie Monica?
I said Mommy Monica.
Well, it's like Shin-Chan, where it's like, Hottie Monica. Hi again, Fox. How's the writing going?
Alright, I guess.
I'll take that. As long as it's not going bad. I'm happy that you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a master... I'm trying so hard to not do the fucking Osaka voice. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece.
I wouldn't count on that.
You never know.
Want to share? Oh, sorry.
Want to share what you wrote for today?
Sure, here you go. I give my poem to Monica.
Alright. This one's good. Feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style?
I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented.
Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. That's the best way to describe it. Should I give her an accent too?
If you want.
What should it be? Like kind of like Valley Girl a little bit, like.
If you want.
Like I don't know, like she's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen.
I don't think that really fits her. I noticed that too. Or when she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside her.
Mm-hmm. Inside her head.
Sadly, it's
That's
hard
me.
to get... Oh, that's you.
Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on inside that head of hers?
I hope you don't mean that in a bad way.
No, of course not.
You kind of sound like, Ricky from the movie.
Oh god, I'm trying.
What's the name of that?
Boy Meets Girl.
Boy Meets Girl, yeah. You sound like Ricky from Boy Meets Girl.
I just meant that I wish she didn't keep so much of herself. Wait, what did I read that?
Much to herself.
Much to herself, but still defending her like that. You must be pretty into her.
Huh? You completely misunderstood.
Calm down, I'm kidding. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend.
Wait, really?
Yeah, a fictional one anyway.
Monica kind of whispers that last part to me.
It's just a hunch, but...
Well, there's not really anything wrong with that.
Oh, well, I know. I was just saying. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too.
Alright, let's take a look.
Can you read this one?
Yes. Save me. I don't really know how to do a Valley Girl accent. How do you do a Valley Girl accent?
I don't know.
The colors, they won't stop. Bright, beautiful, I'm just going to read it normally. Flashing, expanding, piercing, red, green, blue, and endless cacophony? Meaningless noise.
Yeah, cacophony.
The noise, it won't stop. Violent, grating waveforms, squeaking, screeching, piercing. Sine, cosine, tangent. Like playing a chalkboard on a turntable, like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. An endless poem of meaningless. Load me? I think that's what that says.
Yeah.
It's even more abstract than your last one, huh? You...
I guess it's just the way I write. I'm sorry if you don't like it.
No, I never said that. It's just a kind of thing I've never really seen before, I guess.
I kind of like playing with my space on paper. Choosing where and how to space your words can totally change the mood of the poem. It's almost like magic. The way I write the lines really short makes it feel like they're trying to speak over the noise.
I see. It's still hard for me to tell what it's about, though.
Sometimes... Wait, that's it. Sometimes asking what a poem is about isn't the right question. A poem can be as abstract as a physical expression of a feeling. Or a conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a slow down!
A difficult decision.
Difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. You never know when you might change your mind, or when something unexpected may happen. Wait, is this a tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening.
Good fourth wall break there. Alright, we're gonna do Yuri, and then maybe call it quits for tonight.
We gotta save it.
Well, yeah.
Save it just in case.
After we do Yuri. Let's speed through this one, and then we'll be done.
Let's see what you've written today.
Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it?
Fox. This one might even be better than yesterday's. It's not true. How did you even pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday, I was telling you the kind of techniques worth practicing.
Maybe that's why. You did a good job explaining. I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty.
I'm not used to this. Also, is the chat working?
Used to what? Yeah. What? Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I thought it wasn't working. Because, like, the stats shit hasn't updated.
What do you mean?
Stats, yeah. We've been going like over 4 hours.
Oh yeah, I don't know why that's. I don't know. And it's not over 4 hours. It's been this
Oh,
long.
it's like 3 hours, 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah. Anyway,
Used to what?
I don't know.
It's fine. Take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offered that patience to her.
Yeah. Just being appreciated like this, I guess. Sounds really stupid, or probably sounds really stupid, but seeing someone motivated by my writing just makes me really happy.
Are you saying you've never shared your writing before? Yuri nods. Really? I don't believe it.
I really only write for myself. I'm 5. People would just laugh at me.
Do you really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh? Even your close friends? Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Anyway, do you want to share the poem you wrote today?
Yeah, I do. If it's with you. Sorry, I had to finish chewing. Alright, the raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for a guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious well aware of the consequences. Well aware that a raccoon that is fed will always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was the symptom. The bread, my hungry curiosity. The raccoon, an urge. Stolen. The moon increments its phase and reflects that much. Oh God, this handwriting. That much more light off of my cutting knife. The very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread fresh and soft. The raccoon becomes excited. Or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon is taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of blood. Classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread, and I feed myself again. She's the raccoon. Is that what she's saying? Oh, it's a little more daring with this one than yesterday's.
I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem is about.
That's right. It's a bit closer to my preferred writing style, using a poem as a canvas to express vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them.
Yeah, if I take it at its face value, then I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean.
Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way. Wanted to express the way it feels for me to indulge in my more unusual hobbies. It's those sorts of things I'm usually forced to keep to myself, so I sometimes enjoy writing about them.
Huh, that's funny. Didn't Natsuki also write something about that? About someone being ridiculed for a strange interest? She
did?
Yeah. She was talking about how much it doesn't matter what you're into as long as you're not hurting anybody.
She's right. I mean, does she really feel that way?
Yeah. Sounds like you two have that in common.
That's interesting. To me, she seemed like the kind of person who would make fun of my hobbies. But I suppose that's my fault for judging, isn't it? Because tsundere. Well, don't tell her I said that.
Don't worry, I have no reason to.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing it with me. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. God. I might be ranting a little bit now. Why does her blushing look almost like yellow-greenish?
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you're a good listener. You're good at a lot of things. Eating chocolate. Writing, listening. There really aren't many people like you, Fox.
That's exaggerating a little bit.
It goddamn is. It's just how I feel. She's shooting her shot.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would feel so comfortable sharing my writing. And now I almost feel like I look forward to it. It's just a really nice feeling. And you're to thank for that.
It's nothing, really. Yuri smiles sincerely at me. For just a moment, her timidness seems to disappear.
Okay, everyone. We're all done here reading each other's poems, right? I have something extra planned today, so if everyone could come sit at the front of the room.
Is this about the festival?
Well, sort of.
We don't really have to do something for the festival. Or do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in just a few days. We'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members.
Wait, what? Oh, this was... Okay, wait. That's a concern of mine as well. I really don't do anything... I don't really do well with last-minute preparations. Don't worry so much. We're gonna keep it simple, okay? We won't need much more than a few decorations. Sayori has been working on posters, and I've designed some pamphlets that we can give out during the event.
Okay, that's great and all, but that doesn't tell us what we're actually going to be doing for the event.
Oh, sorry, I thought you heard about it already. We're gonna be performing.
Performing?
Monica? Yeah, we're gonna be having a poetry performance. Each of us are going to choose a poem to recite during the event, but the cool part is we're also going to let anyone else come up and recite poems too. So you always put it on all the posters in case anyone wants to prepare ahead of time.
Sayori, who's been coloring our poster, holds it up for us to see. Are you kidding me, Monica? You didn't already start putting those posters up, did you?
Well, I did. Do you really think it's that bad of an idea?
Well, no. It's not a bad idea, but I didn't sign up for this, you know. There's no way I'm going to be performing in front of a group of people like that.
I agree with Natsuki. I could never in my life do something like that.
Imagining it, Yuri shakes her head in fear.
Yes. No, Sayori. I understand where they're coming from. I remember that Natsuki and Yuri have never shared their poems with anyone until just a couple days ago. It's a lot to ask for them to recite their poems out loud to a whole room full of people. I guess I kind of overlooked that, so I'm sorry. But I still think we should give it our best. We're the only ones responsible for the fate of this club. If we start the event and each put on a good performance, then it will inspire others to do the same. That's inspiring. And the more people who perform, the better we'll be able to show everyone what literature is all about. Yeah. It's all about expressing your feelings, being intimate with yourself, finding new horizons, and having fun. That's right. And it's those reasons that we're all in this club today. Do you want to share? Don't you want to share that with others? God, I'm losing steam.
That's what I was saying.
To inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? I know you do. I know we all do. And if all of it takes is standing in front of the room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it.
Natsuki and Yuri remain silent. Sayori looks worried. I guess that leaves me no choice. I agree. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think that Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members. The least we can do is help them out a little bit. Well, maybe, but it looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Ugh. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just have to get it over with.
All right. Whew. Whew. Thanks, Natsuki. What about you, Yuri?
Yuri dejectedly glances around at everyone else's expectant faces.
I guess I don't really have a choice. That's everyone. You're the best, Yuri. This club is seriously going to be the death of me. Oh gosh. You'll be fine, Yuri. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. I want each of you to choose a poem of yours. We're going to practice reciting them in front of each other.
No way!
Monica, this is too sudden. Well, if you can't recite your poem in front of the club, how do you expect it to go in front of strangers? Oh no. Don't worry. I'll start off to help everyone feel a little more comfortable. Can I go next? Of course. Now let's see.
Monica flips through her notebook to a specific poem she had in mind for herself. She then stands behind the podium.
The title of this poem is The Way They Fly.
Monica begins reciting her poem. Her clear, confident voice fills the room. More than that, her inflection is pristine. She knows exactly how to apply emotion behind each line she recites, bringing the words to life. Is this something she's done before, or is she simply a natural? I glance around me. Everyone has their eyes on Monica. Sayori looks amazed. Yuri has an intense expression on her face that I don't understand. Finally, Monica finishes the recitation. The four of us applaud. Monica takes a breath and smiles.
That was so good, Monica. Thank you very much. I was just hoping to set a good example. Are you ready to go next, Sayori? I'll go next. Wow! Yuri's fired up all of a sudden.
Yuri clutches a sheet of paper between her hands and stands up. Keeping her head down, she walks quietly over to the podium.
This poem is called...
Yuri anxiously glances at each of us.
You can do it, Yuri. It's called After Image of a Crimson Eye.
Yuri's voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple of lines, her voice changes. It's almost like what happens when Yuri gets absorbed into her books. Her quivering words transform into sharp syllables of a fierce and confident woman. The poem is full of twists and turns in its structure, and she enunciates it with perfect timing. This must be a rare glimpse into the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealed inside her head. Suddenly, she finished. Everyone is stunned. Yuri snaps back into reality and glances around her as if she bewildered even herself. It's up to me to save the situation. I'm the first to start applauding. Everyone joins me after, and we give Yuri the recognition she deserves. It's not that we didn't want to applaud for her, but we were so caught off guard that we must have forgotten. As we applaud, Yuri holds the poem to her chest and rushes back to her seat.
Yuri, that was really good. Thank you for sharing.
Looks like Yuri is down for the count.
Okay, I guess I'm next then.
Sayori hops out of her chair and truthfully walks up to the podium.
This one's called My Meadow. Sorry, I giggled.
Sayori.
It's a lot harder than I thought. How do you guys do it so easily? Try not to think of it like you're reciting to other people. Imagine you're reciting it to yourself, like in front of a mirror or in your own head. It's your poem, so it'll come out the best that way. I see. Okay then.
Sayori begins her poem. Somehow it feels like her soft voice was made as a perfect match. The poem isn't aimlessly cheery like Sayori is. It's serene and bittersweet. If I were to read this on paper, I probably wouldn't think much of it, but hearing it come from Sayori's voice almost gives it a whole new meaning. Maybe this is what Sayori meant when she said she likes my poems. It's like I get to reach more deeply into someone I thought I knew through and through. Sayori finishes and we applaud.
I did it.
Good job, Sayori.
Even Fox liked it. I guess that's a good sign.
What does that even mean?
Not nicely, Sayori. The atmosphere of the poem fits you really nicely. But it might be that the other poems wouldn't work quite well with that kind of delivery. I don't really understand. In other words, I've seen poems of yours where that sort of gentle delivery wouldn't work as well. You might need a little bit more force behind them, depending on what you're reading. Oh, I know what you mean. Well, I've been practicing that kind of thing. It's just embarrassing to do in front of everyone. The next time I'm going to make you pick a poem that challenges you a little bit more. We don't have much time left before the festival, you know. Okay. Now who's next? Natsuki?
Don't make me go before Fox. It's not like I can compare to you guys anyway. Might as well let Fox lower everyone's standards a little before I have to do it.
Ooh, Natsuki.
It's fine, it's fine. I might as well get it over with. But it's not like I have much of a selection of what to read. I'll just have to go with what I wrote for today. I stand up and step in front of the podium. Everyone has their eyes on me, making me feel terribly awkward. I recite my poem. Since I'm not exactly confident in my own writing, it's hard to put energy into it. Despite that, once I finish, I receive applause anyway. Sorry, I'm not really good at this as everyone else.
Don't worry about it too much. I don't think it's less about your abilities. I think it's less about your abilities and more about your lack of confidence when you're writing. Says you're a bitch. That's something that'll improve over time, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Alright then. That just leaves you, Natsuki.
Yeah, I'm going. Natsuki begrudgingly gets out of her seat and makes her way to the podium. The poem is called... Why are you all looking at me? Because you're presenting... Oh, sorry. Anyway, the poem is called Jump. Natsuki takes a breath. Once she starts reciting the poem, her sour attitude disappears a little. While she's still a little unenthused, her poem has a rhythm and rhyme to it. It's Natsuki's trademark style, and it works surprisingly well when spoken aloud. The words feel like they bounce up and down as if it's giving life to the poem. Natsuki finishes and everyone applauds. She hops back to her seat.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
Easy for you to say. You better not make me do it again.
Well, do you at least feel prepared enough to recite a poem in front of other people?
I mean, doing it in front of other people will be way easier. I can put on whatever face I want for other people, but when it's just my friends, it's just embarrassing.
That's a surprise, Natsuki. I think it would be the other way around for me.
Nah, I feel her. That's totally me. Well, that's just how it is, so...
Well, I guess in that case, you won't have much to worry about for the festival. That said, I want to thank everyone for coming through. It might be hard, but I hope you all have an idea of what it's like to... What now? God. Make sure you pick a poem and get enough practice before the festival, okay? I'll be making pamphlets, so let me know ahead of time what you'll be reciting. I think I'm like trying to not do the accent and I'm throwing myself off.
I should probably find some other poem to recite instead.
That's fine too. Doesn't have to be your own. I'm already pleasantly surprised that you're putting in all this effort for the club. Makes me really happy.
Every time they jump to that. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, everyone. I think that's about it for today. I know the festival is coming up, but let's try to write poems for tomorrow as well. I'll be it's been working out really nicely so far, so I'd like to continue that. As for the festival, we'll finish planning tomorrow, and we'll have the weekend to prepare. Monday's the big day. I can't wait. I can do this.
Alright. I stand up. There's no way I'll be able to find the same enthusiasm as Sayori and Monica, but I'll do my best to get through it. If it's for the sake of the club, and impressing Monica, and then I'll have to do my best. Ready to go, Sayori?
Yeah.
Look at you two, always going home together like that.
It's kind of adorable, isn't it?
Jeez, guys. Don't make such a big deal out of it.
Must be a little nice, though.
Well, how am I supposed to respond to that?
It's okay, Fox. You don't have to say it.
Whatever. Let's go already. I walk home with Sayori once more. Even though it's only been a few days, a lot of things have already changed. But today, Sayori is being a little quieter than usual on the way home. Hey, Sayori?
Sorry, I was spacing out.
Ah, no wonder.
I was thinking about something from earlier. I like how we get to... I mean...
Sayori fumbles with her words.
Let's just say that one day, Yuri asked to walk home with you.
Huh?
What would you do?
What kind of question is that? You're kind of putting me on the spot here.
What would you pick?
I like Sayori. But we're pursuing Yuri, so...
I mean, are we? I mean, what would you do? If you had, like, a crush on Yuri, but, like, And she asked to walk home with you, but like you've been walking home with Sayori all this time.
Then I would probably walk home with Yuri, but also I like Sayori. More than Yuri, honestly. But we've already been spending so much time with Yuri.
If she asked to walk home with me and I was into her, I would still probably walk home with Sayori just because I'm like, yeah, we're buds.
Sayori, you really think I would just ditch you for Yuri?
Yeah. But she's so beautiful and smart.
Jeez, I already see her in club every day. Besides, you always seem to really like going home together. I wouldn't just ruin that for you.
You're so silly, Fox. You think about me too much sometimes. Yuri would deserve it if she wanted it, so
Sayori, I've already made up my mind. I really can't figure you out sometimes.
I'm sorry.
Besides, what's the point in speculating something that's never going to happen? The conversation trails off. It's kind of a weird thing for Sayori to care about so much, but I want to respect her and keep her happy too. Then again, the festival's only a few days away. Who knows what will happen at that time? Alright, let's see.
Oh, I gotta save. Okay.
Alright. Let's leave this one here. I'm getting a little tired from talking so much. Doing so much narration.
Yeah.
That was fun though. Did you have a good time?
I did.
Did you lean into the
I
talking?
leaned into the characters a little bit.
We still probably have a lot more to go because I feel like nothing is happening
Yeah.
unless it like all happens like all at once it starts.
Yeah. I mean, you said it's about like 5 to 6 hours, and I'm sure we're slowing it down just like a whole lot
By reading it,
by
yeah.
reading it out loud and acting it out and talking. So I mean, probably like a quarter of the way through, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably keep doing this for stream. Maybe not on Sunday. Maybe we'll go back to like Overcooked or something for a second
Yeah.
instead of doing this again. Gotta get our acting voices on.
Yeah.
Maybe work on our accents a little bit. Alright. Thanks y'all for hanging out. Appreciate you. Hope to see you next time. Bye.
Till next time.